So this video is about graphing exponential functions. So just a reminder, what is an exponential function? So it is something that looks like f of x is equal to a to the x, where a, the base a, is greater than 0, and it's not equal to 1, and x, the exponent, is any real number. Okay, so let's see how we graph an exponential function and what they look like. So we'll start off with the first basic one here with y equals 2 to the x. So what I want to do is maybe start with a table of values so I can see what's happening here. So if I make my table of values, I'll choose some negative values for x. Maybe I'll go -2 to +2. And then I want to find what is the corresponding y coordinate when x is those given numbers. So when x is -2, what that means is I have 2 to the -2, and we remember with negative exponents that reciprocates the base, so I have 1 over 2 squared, which is 1/4. So when x is -2, y is 1/4, so maybe about here on my graph. Okay, when x is -1, again, I'm going to reciprocate, so it's 2 to the -1, which is going to be 1/2. So when x is -1, I have 1/2, so a little bit higher here. When x is 0, remember anything to the exponent 0 is going to be 1. So I have the y-intercept 0, 1. When x is 1, I have 2 to the 1, which is just 2. And when x is 2, I have 2 squared, which is going to be 4. Okay, so then I connect these points here, and I get this kind of basic shape. So I actually will never cross my x-axis as well. So that's important to note, that an exponential function will never drop below the x-axis or even touch it. It will get very, very close and approach it, but never cross it. So if you want, I can put an asymptote on the x-axis. So I'll never cross this line y equals 0, but my function will get really, really close to it on the left-hand side as my x values become more and more negative, but never actually touch it. Okay, so that's the basic shape. It's important to note that shape of an exponential function. So let's see now what happens when our base is a fraction rather than a whole number. So say I have something like y equals 1/3 to the x. So again, let's make a table of values so we can see what's happening. So I'll go from -2 to 2 again. So when x is -2, I'll have 1/3 to the -2, and again that flips the base, so then I'll have 3 squared, which is 9. Okay, when x is -1, I'll have 3 to the 1, which is just 3. When x is 0, again, 1/3 to the 0 will be 1. When x is 1, I'll have 1/3 to the 1, so 1/3. And when x is 2, I'll have 1/3 squared, so it'll be 1 over 9. I just square the top and the bottom. So again, if I plot these points, so my first point is going to go way off the graph there. So -2, 9, say it would be somewhere way up here. Okay, I know it's not to scale. Then -1, 3 would be here. 0, 1, and then I have 1 and 1/3, and then 2 and 1/9, so again I'm getting really close to the x-axis. So you can see here that my function flipped direction compared to the other one. So again, I'm never going to cross the x-axis here, so I'm not going to cross that line y equals 0, but I'll get really, really close to it and approach it on the right-hand side this time. So when my a value, this value here is between 0 and 1, my exponential function is actually decreasing, and in the other one that I saw where my a value was greater than 1, I have an exponential function which is increasing. Okay, so let's just write that as a quick review. Okay, so we have the exponential function f of x or y equals a to the x. Okay, so if a is greater than 0, we have an increasing exponential function. Oops, sorry, if it's greater than 1, okay, so it'll have the shape, it kind of will look something like this. And then if a is between 0 and 1, I'll have a decreasing exponential function. So again, it'll look something like this. Okay, so that's it. Good luck with the assignments. Thanks for watching.